All right, y'all, we are live on this beautiful Monday afternoon. God bless everybody. In the name of Yeshua, Jesus the Messiah, I do pray you and your family are super blessed. As Bitcoin right now is getting a little bit of a pump, we're going to be diving in deep into the cryptocurrency markets, the macro markets in general, giving you the top-notch, most professional crypto updates in the world. So make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, guys, because you do not want to miss this juicy update. Now, as usual, guys, if we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour, we will be giving away 1,000 USDT, $1,000. All we ask is for you to like the video. All we ask is for you to like the video. That's all we ask. That's all we care. Make sure to like the dang video. All right. We got to give a major shout to everybody in the house. First of all, major shout out to Emmanuel Chain Calculating. Shout out to Roberto Lanto. And shout out to James Shrendrix. Shout out to Misha Makamaka. He went long. Nope, this is the same long trade I've been in since Friday. All right. Same long since Friday, guys. From the local Fibonacci Golden Pocket retest. All right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to Financial Advive. Shout out to Sylvester Micaz 1636. Shout out to Darth. He says, nice wig. Wig? This ain't no wig, bro. This is El All Natural. All right. This is all natural, baby. Shout out to The Real Benja. Shout out to JGD 807. He says, like Case and Jasper and Fricto Case said, Scalpers Market. Major shout to Custy Made. Shout out to T. What's going on, T? Shout out to Pips Made Simple, who says, let's go. Gotta share the hair treatment with you guys. Oh, it's quite exquisite. All right, it is quite exquisite. Shout out to RC Punk. Shout out to Ray Rivers. How's it going? It's going pretty good. All right. All right, guys. Well, here we go. Bitcoin right now coming to an important local resistance right here on the chart. We have officially taken the high from November 20th, 2025, and Bitcoin is looking like maybe we have a local bottom in. All right. Maybe one of the possibilities that we were discussing yesterday will start to play out. But there's a lot of drama going on right now in the cryptocurrency markets. You know, something that a lot of people are talking about on Twitter is the whole deal with MicroStrategy potentially being removed from some major indexes. I think we should pay attention to that. Man, look at the ads, by the way, here. They really know how to get me with these advertisements. Hammer Strength Gym Equipment. Man, it's hard to say no to this. All right. Bitcoin loyalists strategy call for boycott of JP Morgan. Here's what the issue is. Pretty interesting stuff, to be honest with you. Basically, MicroStrategy is under pressure after JP Morgan analysts flagged that the company could be removed from major indexes. In other words, you won't be able to trade the stock on certain indexes because its primary business is simply just holding Bitcoin rather than traditional business. And the concern here is that if MicroStrategy is dropped, billions of dollars of passive fund assets may be forced to sell its shares. This is not good for strategy. If that happens, I'm not saying it's going to, but this is the rumors. JP Morgan's estimate suggested potential for sell-offs in the order of billions. The crypto community and MicroStrategy's leadership are indeed pushing back, and MicroStrategy's executive chairman, Michael Saylor, is defending the company as an operating company with a treasury strategy involving Bitcoin, not just holding Bitcoin. And some in the crypto community are alleging that JP Morgan might be shorting MicroStrategy on purpose to dump things down. Very interesting stuff, all right? You know, this is... Got another article about this here. Strategy is not in the S&P 500. Now it could get kicked out of other indexes. Picture of Michael Saylor looking quite cross. MSCI is reviewing whether to exclude digital asset treasury companies, including Strategy, from its indexes, with a decision expected by mid-January. This is adding to the FUD that is out there right now involving the Federal Reserve potentially not cutting rates in December. All right, now the question really is JP Morgan really shorting MicroStrategy right now? Is JP Morgan really shorting MicroStrategy right now? Well, we can't really know, actually. There's no official there's no way to know whether or not JP Morgan actually has short positions opened against MicroStrategy. One potential is, if they are shorting Strategy, they're simply doing it as a hedge against their own personal Bitcoin holdings. Here's I think what we can say about it all. It appears that JP Morgan is wanting to kick Strategy off major indices because they view it more as a Bitcoin treasury company and not a normal business. Okay, I can accept that. I can accept that. This would cause forced selling, in my opinion, if it happens. So if it actually happens, I do agree. This would be quite bearish for Bitcoin, because when people are selling MicroStrategy, in the eyes of many, the two are inextricably linked. I know a lot of people who are invested in Bitcoin and they hold an equal amount of Bitcoin and Strategy because they almost view them as one and the same. So we've got another narrative here of traditional finance versus blockchain. I guess you could call it DeFi, not really, because Bitcoin's not DeFi. But this is quite interesting that this is brewing in the midst of potentially a very bearish situation on the Bitcoin charts, where we have potentially formed a very significant top in Q4 of the fourth year of the 4-year Bitcoin halving cycle. And we are seeing a pullback as expected, and this pullback indeed is more severe than any pullback we have seen in this bull run. Now, as we speak, the Bitcoin price is getting a bounce from our last hope support. Our last hope support is the area between the Fibonacci 786 and 886 retracements. And as you can see, we're coming right into the box, and we are getting a bounce. Now, this leads us to our high time frame analysis. Remember, things right now are pretty dang bearish. We have seen nothing but bearishness for the past 4 weeks. Right now, as of today, with 6 days and 6 hours left in the week, this is our first potentially blue weekly candle that we've got brewing here after coming down to some pretty key support. Now, let's start on the 2-month time frame and work our way from the 2-month time frame down to the lower time frames. All right, let's get a comprehensive picture of what's happening right here. So in the 2-month time frame, what has happened? Well, the Bitcoin price has indeed confirmed a 2-month bearish divergence. All right, a 2-month bearish dip. We've got a confirmed 2-month bearish divergence here, and historically, if we look at the 2-month bearish divergence, this does mark the top pretty much every single time. 2017, 2018, 2021, now we have another one in 2025. All right, this pretty much marks the top every time. So the 2-month time frame, in my opinion, is showing some significant bearishness right here that historically has marked the beginning of a very large pullback. We come now to our 2-week time frame, and we are seeing momentum for the first time since the bottom of the bear market cross the zero line. And we've currently got 2-week momentum at -18 on market Cypher B. What does this mean? Well, it means officially now there is some big weakness on the 2-week time frame where market Cypher B momentum is below that zero line. And the last time we saw that cross below the zero line, it led to a pretty big drop, guys. It led to a pretty significant drop. We get the momentum crossing below that zero line, and we pretty much end up with another 67% drop. Am I saying we're going to get that this time? No, but we have the very similar pattern playing out of a bearish divergence, money flow getting lower, giving us our top. And then when we get our first drop right here, we get a little bit of a retrace, and then that momentum being low, it gives us another 60% drop. So the 2-week time frame, not really looking that great. Now we're going to come down to the weekly time frame. Now, objectively speaking here, and I've said this for a very long time, if we flip the scale upside down on the chart, it does look very upside down. It looks bullish, right? Which means it's actually bearish. Why does it look bullish upside down? Well, because we see money flow coming in, we see momentum coming in. We're seeing that the Bitcoin price is, we have this trend line here, right? This general trend line of the momentum waves. We can connect the momentum waves and see that we have this general trend here, and we're breaking out of the trend. We're seeing a pretty significant break of this downtrend on the market Cypher B momentum. It is showing us a significant change, and if we actually look now at the weekly candles, we can see that we have changed market structure bearish on the weekly time frame. All right, we've taken out the last high or low in the uptrend. We've got 2 weekly candle closes below. Not really looking the best, to be honest with you. All right, let's put on right now some moving averages here. This is our 200-day moving average right here, the white one. All right. This has also pretty much been the support of the uptrend. We put this thing back on log scale. You can see this has pretty much been the support of the uptrend. This break of the 200-day moving average looks different than previous breaks of the 200-day moving average in the uptrend. Typically, we come below and we range for a little bit, come below, range for a little bit, come below, range for a little bit. This time, we have dropped below with 3 weekly candle closes, each one more bearish than the next. We have also not seen this before, okay? Again, I am not saying whether I am bullish or bearish right now. I'm just telling you what the chart is saying, all right? We could take a look also at the weekly MACD, the McDonald's. I do not usually trade with the McDonald's. However, it is an important indicator to use on the high time frame, because you can see that pretty much we've got a pretty big bearish div, just like good old market Cypher B. And these waves are pretty dang separated. We're also seeing the histogram get lower here. We can go to the monthly, and you can see on the monthly MACD we are about to confirm the cross officially, and that does not look the best considering the last time we had the monthly MACD cross, it really was the top. All right, so we're seeing some pretty bearish signs here. And so here's what we do need to be aware of. Given the fact that we have all these bearish signs on the chart, we are currently right now holding support at the last hope. The last hope is right here between, I'd say, 80K and 85K to make a higher low. Now, weekly market Cypher B, the shimmer of hope that we have here is that this gives us a green dot on market Cypher B. Now, again, I'm not trading weekly green dots here. If the weekly green dot is confirmed, we're probably going to have missed a significant bit of the move to the upside. But we have to recognize the fact that when you do confirm a weekly green dot on market Cypher B, especially this deep, guys, we have not seen it this deep on the weekly since the bear market, you are pretty much guaranteed to get some kind of a move from that, all right? Even in the heat of the bear market, the green dots on the weekly market Cypher B, this one gave us about a 15% move to the upside. Of course, before we had 15% move to the upside, let's not forget the fact that we had a 22% drop before the 15% pump. So, you know, again, this is high time frame stuff. And then the time after that, the green dot on the weekly, very, very oversold, did give us about a 42% move to the upside during the bear market. So if we even are in a bear market right now, guys, again, don't be blinded by the past here. And what I mean by that is this. Do not be blinded by the fact that the last 4 weeks have been nothing but down. because we are finally starting to see things bottom out on the weekly. And if this weekly does give us a bottom, that is going to give us a significant amount of relief, in my opinion. That relief is either going to take us up to around, I'd say, 107,000, give or take, right around here. We have the previous highs from December of 2024, January 2025. This is the support resistance flip. And of course, if we pull a fib from high to low, that is going to be right around our Fibonacci golden pocket as well. All right, so even if things are super ultra bearish right now, a green dot on the weekly could give us a move back up to this area. We will reclaim $100,000. This would be actually a really nice bull trap to simply just print a head and shoulders and come down even lower. All right, that is one possibility. Possibility number two, which I feel like is much less probable, but nonetheless still a possibility, is that we take the highs again. All right, that we take the highs again. Now, Jay, you're so bearish. How could you say this? Look, guys, I have been saying for a very long time, I've been saying since August that I believe the top is generally in here based on the 4-year cycle. All right. I've been saying that I believe the top is generally in. When we came up to 126, I said I would not be surprised if this is the high. All right. All the way back in September, I was saying things are looking bearish. We expect bearishness. All right. That's exactly what I said. This is not what I wanted to see, and I'll tell you why. All right, the monthly chart right now, it's about to confirm another drive of bearish divergence. I'm just being real. I'm gonna be real this stream. I'm gonna get some haters. I don't care. Here we are at the all-time high. I would not be surprised if the top is in, okay? What we do not want to do is close a candle below 124.5. The question here is, are we bullish or are we bearish? The end is for sure near of this bull run. All right, so I've been saying that for quite some time here, okay? Now, look, if we go to a 2-month chart, and this is what we have to understand about high time frame analysis here. Let's go back to example for 2021. All right. If you had sold in March 2021, you would have been right on the money. All right. You would have been right on the money. Now, if you had sold March 2021, guess what? We had a few months of down, and then we even made a higher high. But guess what? In the big scheme of things, this was the top. All right. Same in previous market cycles. In general, the top doesn't come in like just like whoop to the exact dollar and then boom. No, there is plenty of room for volatility on the high time frames. This is what's so important. On the high time frames, specifically on the 2-month and the monthly and the 2-week, it looks extremely bearish. This does not exclude the possibility, in my opinion, of hitting $130,000, continuing to trade this sideways range that we're in, right? This is a range, right? This is, if we are about to dump, this is a distribution range that would then dump, right? It's the opposite of an accumulation range, right? You have accumulation range right here, right? People are accumulating and then we boom, right? Distribution is the opposite of that, right? So, if you're a big player and you want to sell a whole bunch of Bitcoin, well, you push the price up, manipulate the price, get people super bullish again. All of a sudden, people are buying at the top because they think we're going to $200,000. And then the big players who have are looking to sell all their Bitcoin are going to be able to sell it at a much higher price than they would right now, where everybody is literally selling, right? There's, as far as the fundamentals go right now, in the news, on the charts, there's really nothing bullish about this, and people are scared. People are leaving the crypto market, right? Which means, you know, open interest is way down. People are out. In order for big players to be able to sell Bitcoin, they need interest to peak again, right? So be watching for this weekly green dot to print for a move either up to around $107,000 for a lower high or a higher high, just to flip sentiment bullish again. All right, that is one way that I'm looking to trade this. The second way I'm looking to trade this, guys, is remember, this still is a sideways range, which means this. Even if we come down below this low, we could get a fake out of this and then get a move up, right? Right now, I'd say that I would still absolutely be looking to long Bitcoin if we come down to this zone. I'd absolutely be looking to long Bitcoin if we come down to this zone. Even if we take out the low from last week, just like this week we get a nice wick down here and we see some nice bullishness, I would still be interested in a long from that area. And my reasoning for that is things are so bearish right now across the board. We've seen money leaving the market like crazy, which means people are sidelined. People are scared. People are out. We see institutional money leaving. We see retail leaving. We see leverage positions absolutely wrecked. People are out. They're on the sideline. They're waiting for lower. What would be a crazy kind of Max Payne scenario right now? Leave everybody on the sideline, get people to buy back in higher, and then drop it. Honestly, that would be pretty nice. When you see the weekly time frame this oversold, think to yourself, we have not seen it this oversold since literally July of 2022. All right, we have not seen it this oversold. The relief is coming. And when it does come, it's going to be fast. It's going to be painful. It's going to be fast and it's going to be painful. And people are going to be full of emotion and regret. And that's when they like to flip the script. Okay? So we need to be aware of these situations. For me personally, what am I doing right now? I'm cautiously interested in longs from where we are now. I am even more interested in longs if we take out last week's low. I'm still interested in longs even if we come down below $74,000. Because at the end of the day, when in doubt, zoom out. What do we see here at the end of the day? We see a sideways range for Bitcoin. We see us trading between these two green lines. This is considered low. This is considered high. The oscillator is very oversold, very bottomed out. The 2-day is potentially about to confirm in 5 hours a hidden bullish divergence. What does this tell us? It means even in this macro bearish looking chart where the 2-month looks terribly bearish and pretty much everything looks bearish, we are seeing a short-term opportunity for a big move to the upside to wreck everybody who just sold the dang bottom and peak interest again so that they can do what they always do, which is move between support and resistance, really, right? Most of the time, what is the price doing? Most of the time, the price is always trading sideways. Go back in time and look at all the sideways ranges that form, always, right? In general, back here, spring of 2024, sideways range from the high to the low, to the high, to the low, to the high, to the low, and that was the low. Then we come back to the high, then we break out. And we break out, and what do? We form a sideways range where we have a clearly defined low and a clearly defined high, to the low, to the high, to the low, to the high, to the low, and then we break down. And when we break down, what do? Sideways range from the low to the high, to the low, to the high, then we break out. And after we break out, guess what? We got ourselves another sideways range, right? To the high, to the low, to the high, to the low. We get halfway there and then break, right? That is what is always happening in the markets. When in doubt, zoom out and look for the dang sideways range. The big moves are rare. The sideways range is common, all right? So that's why this is why I am bearish on the high macro and still yet looking for a move to the upside locally here, all right? Now, what is going to be a big line in the sand for Bitcoin? Obviously, it's if we come down to 74,000 and we don't see a fake out, right? We come down here and we do something like this, right? This right here will be a major bearish sign of weakness. Why? Because this is telling us that now what used to be major support, we're talking going all the way back to March 2024. I mean, technically, maybe you could consider it to 2021. I'd say March 2024. What used to be major support is now flipped into resistance, which means then, well, then we would look for the next sideways range to trade. I'm not going to say where it is. I'm just going to draw a line on the chart, and you guys can do with that what you will, all right? But in general, you'll notice that when price forms a sideways range, and then, like it did here, right? And then breaks out and forms another sideways range like it did here. When it comes back down into the old range, it will actually respect that old range, right? It will start to trade in this range again, right? We see this pretty much all the time on the Bitcoin chart, right? A great example of that is you could see like in last cycle, right? We have the range up here, between the highs and the lows, and then we lose it. But when we come back inside, we respect that range. We have the range right here. You know, we've got the highs and the lows, right? And then we come back inside that range and we start to respect those levels again. It's pretty interesting, but that's kind of what happens. So we're going to lose $74,000. Then there's really two options, in my opinion. Remember, there's a big fight. Is the 4-year cycle broken? Yes or no? There's a good case to be made that the 4-year cycle is broken. Sorry, Freudian slip there, crypto guy. If the 4-year cycle is no longer a thing, in other words, here's what we really mean by, is the 4-year cycle broken? Here's what everyone really cares about. We don't care about whether or not the 4-year halving cycle is a thing or not. Here's what we care about, all right? We care. Is there going to be a 70% pullback again or no? Right? That's what we care. Is there going to be a 70% pullback or no? Make sure to like the dang stream, by the way, guys. We're trying to get 1,000 likes in half an hour. I'm not sure if we can do it, but here's one thing we will do. I will let you guys know that the egg code for today is strawberry. All right? If you're looking for some eggs in the Discord, the code is strawberry. All right? I'm going to pop it in there. All right? Code is strawberry. Are we going to get a 70% pullback like we have in the past? If the answer is yes, guess what? That's actually going to take us down around $40,000. All right? Based on Fibonacci, that's going to take us around 40K. If the 4-year cycle is broken and we're not going to see such a big pullback, we only get like a 50% pullback, that's going to take us back down to around this zone right here, the back test of the previous cycle all-time high, and this little consolidation that we have here. That's going to be about a 50% pullback, confluence with around the Fibonacci golden pocket. All right. So if we're going to lose $75,000, our next target would be around, I'm going to say $65,000. That's my general target. That's going to be a very important support because that will be a breakout and a back test of the key support resistance flip, right? This is if we're not going to see a 70% correction. If the 4-year cycle is still a thing, then our target would be just below 40K. And the reason why I say this is because we can go back throughout all Bitcoin history and see that every time we top out in a bull market, we come down and bounce from perfectly every single time the Fibonacci 786 zone. All right, let's just show here what I mean. Every single time, you could see here, we're going to just pull it that fib level, and then we'll pull from the bear market bottom to the all-time high. We come and we bounce right from the Fibonacci 786, 886 fib. We pull it once again from the low to the high, and we bounced last time from the 786, 886 fib. And so, of course, this time we pull from the low to the high, and that's going to put us under $40,000. All right. Now, I am not, once again, necessarily calling for this. What I am calling for is if we're going to see the same as what's happened in the past, which there's a good case to be made, we're not going to see it because of institutional money, blah, 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 ETF. But if we do see what we saw the past 4 cycles here, all right, we could even do this one. All right, if we're going to see what we saw the past 4 cycles, then this is where we would expect Bitcoin price to go. And if not, then I would expect that we would see a lot of strong buying happening at this area, right? Now, there's a big case to be made that the 4-year cycle is no longer a thing, aka the 70% pullback is no longer a thing. That's really what people mean when they say, is the 4-year cycle broken, right? I'll tell you one thing that's not broken. That is the time schedule, right? I mean, one thing's for certain. The shallow pullback that we got in January 2024, we were scheduled to have a 35-40% pullback to retest 30K based on Fibonacci and time that we had up until the halving. This pullback right here was right on schedule. What wasn't on schedule was the depth of the pullback, right? Instead of pulling back every single time before the halving, historically, we would come up to the 618 Fibonacci, and we would get about a 30 to 45% pullback. This time we come up, we get only a 20% pullback, but it happened right on time. here we are right now, Q4 2025, where we expect the top to be in. This pullback has happened right on time. And this pullback has given us a 36% move to the downside. This is something we have not seen in the entirety of this uptrend. We've seen 30% corrections back here. We saw about a 32% correction. Then in 2025, the beginning of the year, we saw about a 31% correction. None of these other corrections here were even close to that in the entirety of the bull market, right? We saw back in March 2023, 22% correction. Then we saw about, in the summer of 2023, a 20% correction. We saw another 20% correction in 2024, 28%, 30%. This is bigger than what we've seen. So the pullback is happening on schedule, right? The pullback is happening on schedule. So really we're asking, are we going to see more of a pullback here? All right. Now, I'm pretty neutral. In other words, I don't really have a hard view on this, but I will tell you guys something. I am not buying Bitcoin. I'm not moving cash into Bitcoin but until we're below $70,000. All right. I made the post over on X. All right. Over on Twitter. I hate calling it X, but I made it a while ago. All right. Which is this. I sold 120K. I'm glad I sold. I'm not buying again until under 70. People in the comments are like, you're gonna buy back higher. You're gonna buy back higher. I am not gonna buy back higher, guys. I am not going to move cash into Bitcoin from the Bitcoin that I sold along the way up, unless we are under $70,000. That is my plan right now. If we just so happen to moonshot right now to $200,000, then I'm going to be on the sideline, all right? I'm going to have to wait for another significant pullback in order for me to get in. But for right now, given the context of the 2-month, the 2-week, the weekly change of market structure, the fact that we're having a scheduled pullback, I personally am going to wait, all right? And time will tell whether or not I am literally the most retarded person in the world or I am smart, all right? We'll have to wait and see. What do you guys think? We'll take a poll, all right? We'll take a poll. Let's take a poll. All right, Jason Casper, smart or retarded? All right, the two choices are yes or no. All right, two choices, yes or no. That's the poll. All right. I thought cycles were based on time and not percent-based drops. They are based on time with the halving, but we've also seen similarities in the percentage of the drops. All right, so if you look at, for example, the pre-halving pullbacks, and if you look, for example, the bull market highs pullbacks, they are percent based. All right, we just looked at the chart here, and we're looking at percents based on the Fibonacci ratios, and they all retrace into the same percentage, right? Which is below 78.6% retracement, which is, you know, that 70 to 80% pullback. And each time it happens, it becomes less, right? But even still, last time we dipped below the 78.6%. So in a way, they are percentage based. In a way, they are not. All right. Now, I would also just caution everybody to keep your high time frame bias separate from your low time frame bias. Remember that there's a lot of bearish FUD right now in the news. We got the whole Michael Saylor thing. We got the whole rate cut thing. Remember, typically, the market will wreck as many people as possible. And right now, things are definitely bearish. This is a perfect time for some nice relief, in my opinion. And it could be this week, depending on how things go. All right. Right now, in 5 hours, we will confirm a hidden bullish divergence on the 2-day time frame. Okay. We will confirm a hidden bullish divergence on the 2-day time frame. Okay. So we will see if we do get some relief. perhaps this long trade that I'm in, which I wasn't expecting much from it. I mean, not at all. All right. Let's see if maybe this is the relief. And if it is, we could get the move up to, like I said, 107,000. All right. Obviously, I'm still in the short trade from the Casper crew setup from the exact top. By the way, guys, I am currently trading on KCEX. Best deal on fees. Make sure to sign up using my link for regular chances to win $1,000. All you have to do is sign up using my link. You don't have to deposit anything. I'm also trading on BLOFIN. All right, BLOFIN right now, very low fees, 0.02% market order fee, 0% limit order fee, only if you use my link. If you don't use my link, BLOFIN has high fees. All right, but I said, look, BLOFIN, you know, the Casper crew, we like low fees. What can you do? They said, Jay, don't worry. I got you, bro. All right. He, speaking of BLOFIN, said, Jay, look, I got you, man. For the Casper crew, we'll give you 0.02% market order fees, 0% limit order fees. All right. So make sure to click, because even if you don't trade, and if you don't know how to trade, don't trade, please. But if you sign up to BLOFIN, if you sign up to KCEX using my link, not only do you get super low fees, but you regular chances to win $1,000 via the giveaways, all right? Also, if you want to join the Casper Crew VIP Discord, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com and click the link. This is where every single day, myself and multiple instructors go through the live trading, the live charts for New York Open, London Open, Asia Open. We have games every single month, every single week, actually. We got something going on. Lots of fun, giveaways, raffles, prizes, great trading community. Make sure to check it out. All right. All right. Here we go. Bitcoin getting a little bit of a pump here. Let's check out the order flow. Let's check out the order flow. Let's go to the 30-minute time frame and see what is happening actually in real time with the trades. All right. What is happening in real time here with the trades? So, what have we seen here? Well, to be honest with you, for the first time since last week, we are actually seeing longs opening up. Let's go to the 30-minute again. Okay, I was on the 1 minute, which I thought was the 30-minute, guys. I was on the 1 minute, which I thought was the 30-minute. Okay. We are actually seeing right here some longs opening up. Look at this. 66 million new longs coming in, another 30 million. We got about 100 million fresh longs coming in here. About 100 million longs. This is the first time we've seen the price go up with an increase of open interest and CBD. We have not seen that in so long, all right? Now, in general, open interest is crushed. In general, open interest is crushed. If we take a look at this, what's happened here since Friday is the following. Shorts have taken profit, right? Look at the shorts. This right here is net shorts, all right? Let's take a look at our net shorts here, all right? These are our net shorts. Let's go to like the 2-hour time frame, all right? You can see we had quite a few shorts open going back to Friday. Over the weekend, they have closed out their positions, all right? So there was real big money in here pushing price down. I mean, we saw every big drop. We saw massive amounts of shorts opening, hundreds of millions. They are now out. They've taken profit. What else are we seeing here? Although we're seeing some longs open right now, in general, since Wednesday, longs are wrecked, all right? So what is this telling us? This means shorts are fat and happy, and they're also on the sideline. They've closed out. Longs are wrecked, and they're on the sideline, all right? This is a low, kind of a low volume market right now, especially compared to what we saw last week. Here's what needs to happen for more upside locally here. We actually need to see some buyers step in and or some shorts being absorbed. And we also need to see a real change of market structure, which in my opinion means we need to reclaim around 92,000 US dollars. 92,000 US dollars right now is going to be a very key level for this reason. If we take a look at all the volume that's traded here, 92,000 is going to be a move back inside the value area low of the range, okay? This will be our first sign of actual strength, and it will be our first sign of market structure change on the lower time frames. All right, we come back above this level. Let's call it. We'll call it 91,500 in general, right? If we start to come up here we come here and we start to continue with the bullish market structure, that really, especially confirming 3-day hidden bullish divs and all this, that could really be our ticket in, okay? We do need to be prepared for a rejection there, because that's going to be a very key resistance now, all right? So locally, I'd say locally what's happening right now is this. We're coming back up to this very key support resistance flip. This is actually quite interesting what happens now, right? Watch what happens now, because we're either going to roll over and grab all that liquidity, or we're going to get a big break above and a back test and hold, right? Personally, I kind of hope for this one. I hope for the rejection and the rollover, because it would be nice, in my opinion, to come back down again to some of the lows with some more bullish signals to get into a trade. Let's see if the market's going to do that for us. All right. There is anything could happen right now because of such low open interest here, and because of I'd say lack of participation in the market here, right? Because of lack of participation in the market, small money could push price up quick. It could also push price down quick. We did have a CME gap earlier that did fill. With that being said, let's take a quick look at Ethereum here. Make sure to smash up the likes. Make sure to smash up the likes. No interest rate cut in December. Do you still think the market can be bullish? Look, I do have to say that yes, I do still think it could be bullish, and here's why. Because I think the no rate cut is already priced in. So the market we're seeing now is as if they already didn't cut rates, right? But if we go to take a quick look. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's already priced in. I'd say that there's no cut, right? 80% saying no cut. It's already priced in. So in my opinion, I think it's very possible. I shouldn't say if that's my opinion, this is what's happening, but in my opinion, I think it's very possible that, yeah, this drop could be because people have already priced in no rate cut, and by the time they don't cut rates, we're going to be more than ready for some big relief, right? Now, Ethereum is currently getting a bounce from the 618 Fibonacci golden pocket. All right. Shout out to our man Felix for the prophecy. If you know, you know. This is going to be a pretty key level for ETH to hold. All right. So ETH is at a key level. Bitcoin's at a key level. If we take a look at ETH, what do we see here potentially? I mean, you could make a potential case for ETH that we have a hidden bullish divergence down here on the weekly from our lows back here. But it's not the best case because of this momentum wave down here. And then we're potentially going to get a trigger wave right here. Either way, I'd say if Bitcoin's going to print a hidden bullish div on the weekly, ETH is probably going to pump as well. And this is a key support right now. Like, this is a pretty key support. In general, I have to say ETH looks pretty bearish. Like, the 2-month time frame is about to print a divergence. The monthly time frame, it will confirm in 6 days a bearish div. It really doesn't look good. The 2-week time frame looking extremely disgusting with the bear div here. But if Bitcoin's, even if Bitcoin comes up to 107,000, even if Bitcoin just comes to 107,000, I think it's pretty likely that we could see ETH make a new all-time high. And why do I say that? Well, because look at this, guys. All right, and we've been saying this for a while, even though we've been getting smashed into the dust on ETH. But this right here is every recipe for a short squeeze, okay? It's pretty much no different than this. Right? You can't just have this kind of market structure, all right, and not expect a fast, powerful squeeze to the upside. This is disgusting. Lower highs ever so slightly. Imagine all the people that were short and trailed their stop losses above the high, above the high, above the high, above the high, above the high. And now it's not going to take much for us to just squeeze them and get an overreaction to the upside, capitulation to the upside, basically, right? To squeeze leverage shorts. I think that's a very real scenario that could happen. If it does happen, if we come up to $5,500 ETH, boom, baby, I am selling my ETH. All right, not all, but I am going to sell spot ETH at 5,500. I was so close. I moved it onto an exchange, ready to go, but obviously that didn't happen. All right, I'm gonna move this down to around 91.2. These are some key levels on Bitcoin right now for this potential relief rally, okay? For this potential relief rally. So let's see what happens here. Let's take a look now at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance continuing to take a massive dump here, which is quite nice, honestly. I do think it's quite nice. Because this is what we want. I mean, if we want to see ETH hit a new all-time high, what we need to see is Bitcoin hold support and get some relief, which looks like it's about to happen, right? It really does look like Bitcoin is about to get some kind of relief. We are breaking down from this mini channel after breaking down from the macro channel. Our next target would be around 54%. And let's take a look at total 3. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty nice for altcoins in the moment. Like Bitcoin holding support, potentially getting a relief rally. Ethereum looking like she wants to short squeeze the crap out of that disgusting market structure. We're seeing money come into altcoins, guys, and leave Bitcoin. Let's check out total crypto cap here. Yeah, so money's coming into the crypto market in general here. We've seen in the last, well, since the low of last week, we've seen about, we went from 2.74, we've seen about $250 million come into crypto, 250 million come into crypto pretty much since Friday. All right, so the last few days, we've seen a $250 million come into the crypto market in general. And we're seeing people move money from Bitcoin into altcoins. Very interesting. Very interesting. Also, we do have a hidden bullish divergence here on total market cap. And you know what? I mean, technically speaking, I don't know about the fib levels, but we are kind of getting a little bit of a bounce from this weekly order block. So there are some ingredients here. There are some ingredients for a bullish December, man. We've got some ingredients for a bullish December right now. I think it could happen. All right, I think it could happen. Oh, billion, right? Billion, not trillion. $250 billion coming to the market, not billion. Sheesh, man. Bitcoin's too rich for me. Crypto market is just too much money for my mind to comprehend. Seriously. That's so much money. $250 billion. That is pretty crazy. Wow. Smart and retarded. Yeah, let's check out our poll. Am I retarded or smart? Smart or retarded? Yes. Okay, 75% say yes, I am smart or retarded. One or the other, 75% of you agree that I am one or the other, either smart or retarded. Is that a hidden bullish divergence? Yes, it is a hidden bullish divergence as well. When Corolla time, I said it's hidden bull div on the 2 day. Does that mean it'll be bullish for the next 2 days? No, it just means that on the high time frames, like the 2 day time frame, for example, we're seeing confirmation of a divergence, which means that's just a bullish factor for, I'd say, for the next few weeks of probably getting some relief here. And we're gonna see if the relief here. Yeah, I think it's time for some relief. All right, I really do. I'm gonna be bearish on the high time frames, but I would not be surprised if we see some relief here as well. Let's pull the fib. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we see that happen. And essentially, all this is doing is continuing in bearish market structure. But this is the total market cap, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, rate cuts getting priced in as we speak. Why can't you see the bullish div on the 1 daily? I don't know. It's a hidden bull div, that's why. You can't see it because it's hidden. You know, it's hidden. 73% of your watchers are retarded, says Jackboy. Well, that's not very nice. Can we look at Dogecoin, FOMOG? Shout out to the super chat in the house. Yeah. Why would I prefer a rejection if I'm long from the bottom? To get into a bigger long from the bottom. Shout out to Hard Fork Crypto. Can you take a look at H&T? Yeah, we can take a look at some of these coins. Let's take a look for our man FOMOG at Doge. All right, are people still trading Doge? Guys, I'm scared, man. I am scared because I have a very heavy squat session tonight. And I have been working out at night instead of the morning lately, and I only drink caffeine in the morning, and I'm a little bit nervous, all right, for the squat session. It's going to be real intense, all right? Dogecoin, forming a big cup and handle. El cupo del handle grande en español. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. So, what do we have here? I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't know. We don't have bullish divergences. Money flows flat. In general, this is a bullish pattern. The daily time frame, what do we have on the daily time frame? We don't have really a bullish divergence here, unless you include the wick. But here's the one good thing I'll say about it. We're coming back to test the value area low. This is historic support. So we are at the bottom of a large range here. But we don't have like bullish divergence. But if we're going to hold, this is a key level to hold because it's the value area low of the range in the 786. And if Bitcoin's going to pump, well, Doge could probably pump too, right? I mean, we typically see the crypto markets move together. Yeah, I don't have a strong conviction on Dogecoin one way or the other right now. To be honest with you, I don't. The chart, it's pretty blah. It's pretty blah, honestly. All right, let's take a look at H&T. Guys, this is so crazy. I don't know. I updated my iPad, and now I can use my computer mouse on my iPad. It's like another monitor that I have here. It's pretty cool. I could never do that before. H&T. All right, well, how did this long trade work out here, guys? Pretty horribly, right? We're looking for a bounce from the golden pocket 786. I guess we were looking at this back in October of 2024. let's remove that. So what can we say about it? Well, it's coming back down to support. We don't really see bullish divergence the way you would want to see on the daily. We have some local bull div, but money flow is shady. I'm sorry, this is the weekly. Okay, so we do have weekly bull div. And the daily money flow actually does look good here. We do have some nice bull div on the daily here. We've seen this before. It didn't really play out. H&T. We're at value area low. It looks very squeezable. It looks ultra squeezable. This looks extremely squeezable. The only thing I don't like is this high already did a good job at clearing out some liquidity. But if we can come above $4.66, this looks extremely squeezable, right? So we could maybe come up here, hang out, and then squeeze back up. I could see that happening. We are pretty much like knocked all the way back down to support. We're below all key fib levels here, like crazy. So yeah, I would say that our what's tough is I would say like we would want to wait for a market structure change, but here's what's probably going to happen. We're not going to be able to get one because this is going to slice through like butter. So an ideal setup would be slice like butter and then come back down to back test the POC of the range, confluence with our golden pocket, right? Ideally, we would want to see this support resistance flip, basically the fake out, the reclaim, the change of structure, and the back test. That would be an ideal setup here. But will we get that? I don't know. Obviously, we can't really know. It looks very squeezable to me. Let's just check out some risk to reward ratios, right? Let's say we get in here and we are longing resistance. Please keep that in mind. If we long here, we are longing into resistance, but we're doing so because things do look bullish with the with a big potential short squeeze. So I'd say that it's not really worth it at our current position because our first target would be around $3.20. If we're going to get a little bit more gambly with it and say we're going to go back to the highs of the range, that is worth it. It's an 11-to-1 risk reward ratio, which basically means if we're risking 1% to make 11, that's good. All right. And then really it's no different taking the trade now or waiting for something like this, the back test. This would give you much more confirmation, but this isn't guaranteed to happen. This is lower probability to happen, but it's the same risk to reward ratio, really. You know, it really is the same risk to reward ratio, essentially. It's basically the same trade. It's just the second one you're waiting for a pump, back test, and then boom, right? This one you're saying, well, looks squeezable. We're bouncing from support. We're bouncing from the support resistance flip. We're pretty bottomed out. Looks like across the board, crypto's ready for some relief. Let me take a gamble with good risk management. That way I don't get wrecked. You know. Would it be a bad idea to DCA into a hedge short on Bitcoin? Oh man, I mean, I know people who do that. Make sure you just know what you're doing and manage your risk well. But it's never a bad idea if you are up massively, like on a spot account, right? And you want to hedge against your spot. It's never really a bad idea to do that. But you have to kind of really know what you're doing for that, all right? Hey guys, guess who it is? We got Papa Casper on the phone. Papa Casper, how's it going, sir?
Hey Jesse, how you doing? It's been a long day. I'm going to the dentist to get my teeth, but you know, it's been a great time, and Thanksgiving because I have a lot to be thankful for.
You have a lot to be thankful for?
Sir, mostly to you. My boss is the greatest around. Wouldn't you say, guys? He's the best around. He knows what he's doing with that Bitcoin. Oh boy, does he know what he's doing.
Thanks for the kind words, Papa Casper.
Of course.
Give us
Anytime.
give us a big smile, man. Looking good. Looking good, man.
That money you made, you should give me some new teeth.
No, I want you to have to work for it, man. Look,
Or teeth, as I say.
you know.
Yeah, I mean, teeth are overrated, if you ask me.
I think so too.
Teeth are much overrated. I mean, you just get. I'll take a wife with like 5 teeth rather than someone that has a whole set of teeth if they're like a nag all day. You know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. A woman, she could have 5 teeth, but or she could have a full set of teeth. It don't matter if she's a nag. You know what I mean?
She's good in other things, as you know what I'm talking about, and you get along with her. That's all. And she knows how to buy and trade Bitcoin. That's all she takes. That's all she needs.
She just needs to know how to buy and trade Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
I feel you, Papa Casper.
I can't wait to see you soon, and I'm going to the field today to work on my fields out here. You know, I'm a farmer too, not as good as you. Absolutely, I am a farmer. So
you've been trading Bitcoin lately?
Absolutely. I want you to look at my profile, give me some more lessons and more advice. But it's never too old. I'm 66 years old, and I look pretty good for my age.
I think so. I mean, you're looking great, man.
I think so. I'm double your age.
Why don't you give us a front double bicep flex, man?
Oh wait, how can I do that, man?
I don't know. You have to figure out. Oh wow! Don't mess with Papa Casper. Look at that. Oh my.
I'm mess you all up. I'll hit you off that.
Thanks, Papa Casper. Thanks for popping on in.
And follow Jesus wherever you go. Yeshua, he's the one.
That's right. Amen.
All people, doesn't matter. He loves you where you are, but he loves you and he wants you to know him. So that's all it is. That's all it's about.
Praise you, Papa Casper.
Amen.
Amen. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Later.
All right, peace. All right, that was Papa Casper coming on in for his short time frame analysis. Man. Let's see here. Let's see. All right. Well, let's see here. Let me take a look at something on my phone because gotta check on something else. All right, 22. What? All right, guys, I gotta head out. I'm so sorry, but I love you guys. Blessings to all of you in the name of Jesus, the Messiah. I do pray that y'all have a wonderful day. And Lord willing, I will see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell. Peace.